Hey everybody, welcome to the Herd Fit Podcast with Dr. Sam Rhee and myself, Coach David Syvertsen. This podcast is aimed at helping anyone and everyone looking to enhance their healthy lifestyle through fitness, nutrition, and most importantly, mindset. So workout 3.
This was rope climb, as many rounds as possible in 10 minutes of 1 rope climb, 2 shuttle runs, 2 rope climbs, 4 shuttle runs, 3, and then so on and so forth. It's a 15-foot rope climb, 50-foot shuttle run, and I said 10-minute cap.
Yep.
So
basically a ladder of running and rope climbs. And it really, when you look at that, this one was the toughest one to gauge. Like I had no idea what a good score is. Like in my head, I'm like 10 seconds per rope climb, 7 to 8 seconds per shuttle run. So you come up with this like general number in your head, what a good score would be. And I thought like, it would 70 plus was like a good score, but I thought some people would get to 80. I don't think anyone did.
80 would be where?
So. In the 14 shuttle runs, almost finishing them.
So 7 rope climbs, 14 shuttle runs.
So finishing the 7 rope climb would be 70.
I see.
And I think the top score was 75.
I see.
So, I was a little off on thinking, all right, the scores would be higher. So it's hard to factor in the fatigue factor for that kind of workout. I thought it would be rope climbs. It was 100% rope climbs. Like you could have walked on the run.
Literally could have walked the run.
It just came down to what your biceps and forearms could handle. Kel.
I'm probably among the few who's looking forward to that one.
Right. Yeah, those are 2 good movements for you.
I like those. And we had talked beforehand about the run and just not to blow it out and just that's not where it was going to make the difference. And I'm glad we talked about it because that was recovery. So I was happy with.
That's a true sign of fitness, though. I want to pause you right there. That's if someone wants to know, we get asked all the time, how do I know if I'm making progress? It's not just about your scores. The ability to go hard and recover is a huge component of fitness to me. So yeah, keep going.
Yeah, no, I was happy with where I ended up with that one and couldn't have done it again, but
yeah, that wasn't that one that you're like, I could probably do it again if I fuck up. Like, no shot, right? No. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, I was actually the same way. I couldn't wait to do this when they came out. I was like, rope climbs is like one of my bread and butter movements. I had done this just in practice when they released the individual that had the same kind of ladder but with wall balls. So I was confident in the movements and everything. But this one was way worse, I would say, because it was, again, all rope climbs.
Right.
My goal was to get into that round of 7. As I finished, I'm on the round of 6, and I could just start feeling my bicep just go.
Yeah, that's scary.
And it was scary. I was up at the top, and I'm like, I don't know if I move that I'm not gonna fall straight down, but let's just go.
It's a scary feeling to be at the top of a rope. And Sam said this yesterday, that when you had to go up there and take the one hand off the rope to touch the target, you didn't know if the other one could hold you.
Yes.
At the end of the workout. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was cool because I was looking at the clock and I realized I had just enough time to get through the round of 12 to get that 1 rope climb, and I just started sprinting all out. And it's funny, in my head I'm like doing crazy 4.0 40-yard dashes, and I look at my video, I'm like, oh, I'm actually just going just barely faster.
Yeah.
But it was all I had. And yeah, the bicep pump after was just so real. But I was really happy with that.
Good. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I'm awful at rope climbs, both physically and mentally, because mentally I've never practiced them. I hate what they do to my hands. I use my work as an excuse, and I'm always like, I don't want to do this.
Sam's a plastic surgeon, for anyone who doesn't know. He can't have bad hands.
Yeah, so I don't like feeling the hand sanitizer when I'm scrubbing, when I have rips. So I'm a baby about it. I know I am. Listen, it's what I do. So this one I taped up like I normally do, like a burn victim, and then I went and did it. And I've probably done 5 rope climbs all year, but we do
a lot of pulling strength.
Yeah, and so the strength is there from just what we program. And the other thing is I have done rope climbs over the past 5-6 years, and right. I know, listen, is my technique great? Am I really J-hooking properly? Am I lifting my leg up really high to press? Mm-hmm. I am not doing it really well, but I'm good enough that I got through the last 5 rope climbs for me, the round of 5, whatever that is, and it really became my lat, arm, pull.
Yeah.
And it was so inefficient. And you see someone like Kevin Yurchak, right? And then we were talking about it. He does like
So
2.5.
long.
And he's
So long.
And he's
Yeah.
so efficient. And
Yeah.
and even Rhee is also very efficient. She's like, as Kevin said, like 5 foot tall. So
Yeah.
it takes her more pulls.
Absolutely, yeah.
But when you're so efficient at it, it's a skill that you become really good at. High knees, really lock in that rope,
Yep.
pull. And I just don't have that. So I was able to get, what is 5 rope climbs? Like 15? Something like that? Like total?
Oh yeah. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah.
Something like that?
Yep.
Yeah. So listen, for me, 15 rope climbs,
15 rope climbs,
is like more than I've ever done all year.
Okay.
And so
Good.
I'll take it. But you're right. When I went on those last 2, you saw me. I
Yeah.
was scared.
I stood under you.
You know what you said? You said, hey,
if you
Sam,
fall,
don't
I'll
worry,
catch you.
I'll catch you. And I was thinking in my head, if I fall, I will die. You will die.
Yeah.
We'll both die because you're not going to catch me on 15 feet.
I would catch you.
No,
Let's go.
I appreciate it. But I said I really appreciate the sentiment. And listen, the fact that, you're telling me this, I'm going to try. And so I managed
Right.
to do
I mean,
that.
I do that with people when we do like heavy back squats at the gym. Like some people are just afraid to do like a true max because they don't want to fail and get like, what do I do? If this, like, I will tell people I'll stand behind them. And sometimes it looks weird. I'm like whispering in there. I'm like, I got you. Don't worry. But it does help them because they know worst case scenario isn't that bad. They can't got and I got it. Like I'll either pull it off your back if it's light enough, or I'll help you squat it. Like I can, and it does. I can't tell you how many people that go into a barbell and they say I don't know if I can do this. But the fact that someone's behind them just in case, they get it.
In a non-comp setting, I would have taken 10 rope climbs and be done with it.
Yeah,
But in
right.
that setting, I was like, I just got to keep going.
Yeah.
And
You did well in that one.
and for me,
For sure.
ranking wise, not so great. But for me personally,
Yeah.
I was happy with that.
Yep. Yeah. So I feel the same way in that workout. Like it just everyone all got to a point at the set of 5 or I was into the 7s. Towards the end of everyone's workout, we were afraid to go do another rope climb. That's basically what it come down to. And there's little efficiency things in a rope climb that do add up at the end. I've never been very good at coming down off the rope, but like you said, if you're really good at foot latching and really reaching up, I always tell people when we do rope climb workouts, reach as high as you can. Because it'll help you. It might get you 1 or 2 less pulls at the end. And the number one thing you want to do when you do a rope climb, if you want to keep this simple, is get off the rope. You don't want to be up there for a long time. It's just so much engagement. So if you can just do 1 less pull or reach higher, it adds up at the end. I also think one more thing about the rope climb, if you guys want to work on this over the next year, jump as high as you can. If you can start 3, 4, 5, 6 inches higher every time, that's what I could do early in a workout. When I get tired, I can't jump. So that just loses. But I remember my first few rope climbs, I got up there in 2 pulls because I jumped as high as I could, and it just gives you a little bit of a head start.
There are a lot of people that are in our gym that are really good at rope climbs,
Yes,
and this is one where you work on it some, and you
Yeah.
can make a lot of gains with
But
it.
also, like you said, it's not something that a lot of people want to work on that much. It hurts, the rope burn. I think there's some value in what you said initially, just the pulling strength that we do, toes to bar, I actually think toes to bar have more to do with rope climbs than pull-ups, but we'll get into that another time maybe.
That core, right?
Yeah, the core, the knee up, lean back.
Yeah.
But just the grip strength that we do with kettlebells and dumbbell snatches and just holding on to things, it helps the rope climb.
Well, this is why these two are so good at rope climbs, because
Right.
they got that core, the toes to bar, good for them.
And grip
that,
strength.
That grip, yeah. So
Yeah.
you can tell the people who are good at rope climbs, that skill translated over from other movements.
Absolutely, 100%. So event 4 was the strength event. Sam, give it to us.
Yeah, total CrossFit total load: 1 back squat, 1 press, strict shoulder press, and 1 deadlift. Time cap 30 minutes. And what they had you do was 3 attempts per movement.
Yep.
You could not go back, so you just did 3, 3, 3, and that was it.
Yep, that was it. And in a 5 workout competition, I would say anything more than 3 workouts in any competition, strength has to be tested in one way or another. It has to be. And then I'm not a huge fan of the max lift, partially because I'm not good at it, but I also just don't think it tests that much. But I love what they did here because in this when you have to do 3 lifts, there's usually one you feel good about, one you don't really care about, right? Someone like Sam Danzers is good at all of them, but I bet even he is dude, I love this, whatever. It really does, sometimes last year we just did a 4 rep max front squat. What if you're terrible at deadlifting, but you dominate the
great
squat?
squatter.
Does that mean you're strong?
Right.
I love the idea of attacking 3 different movement patterns and or doing strength in the middle of a workout with like ascending weights. Like that's how I think you should do it.
Yeah, but the difference here is that it's a total weight count from just poundage.
Right.
So if you're an insane deadlifter,
You get a huge
a
jump.
huge bunch.
Yeah. Like if you're really good at strict pressing, you only get like an extra 20 pounds on people.
Right.
Like I know a guy that I think he strict pressed at 235, which is mind numbing to me. But it's not, and that is a huge gap. Like I couldn't even move 235 off my shoulder, let alone start to press it. Where a deadlift, so that's only I think that's only about 45 pounds heavier than I lifted. But a really strong squatter probably out squatted me by 150 pounds, So I can see where it's not proportion, but I still prefer this over like a max squat or just a max deadlift or a max press.
Understood.
Kel, what are your thoughts?
This one was not a great one for me, and I knew it wasn't going to be. I'm not super strong on the barbell, so it was more personal than general for me. And Dave had programmed that for us in the mock-up, and I actually did better on every lift in the mock quarterfinals than I did the other night. So this wasn't one of my favorite.
And why do you think that was?
I don't know. I don't usually work out at night. I could say, but I did the mock one at night the time before, so I don't really know. I've improved on all of those lifts over the course of the year, even from what I ended with this weekend. So I was happy with that. Mm-hmm. But I knew I could do better.
When you did your opening weights, how did you figure where your opening weight was going to be? Was it based on your PR or something safe, or what did you want to do with that?
I went just under my PR for all three, and then I got them, and then I went for the PR. Okay. And I did not get it either time. Okay. So, or any of the three. Okay. So I had the safe number that I was pretty sure I could hit, and we were able to warm up to that number too. So I was pretty confident in that, but I did not hit those PRs, which I was less than pleased with. Just personally speaking, I wasn't expecting anything great in this one.
Yeah, this is also for me not the greatest, but strength is something I've been working on over the years. I was never super strong, growing up, and I never worked on a lot of that. So I would say in the last 3 or 4 years, I've been really trying to get stronger. I was pleased with everything. We did this first. I don't know if we might talk about that after, but so I was the freshest to do it. I did have numbers in mind because I've been working on all these lifts, and I worked up my back squat to just about where I wanted to start. So I was able to get the back squat done pretty quickly. I think in 5 minutes, I was pretty much done with it. But I did the same thing. I did a safety lift that was pretty good. I went for it for my second one, and I missed both my back squat and my press, where I didn't get it. They were both trying to go for PRs, and then I lowered it and I was able to hit those. But
so that's kind of pressure on that third lift.
Yes, a lot of pressure. Yeah. All of a sudden it's like, oh, if I don't hit this, I'm just set at my safety, which, for my deadlift was actually super low, and then I made a huge jump. So it was a bit of a risk on that, but I'm happy overall with how it went.
Awesome. You were pretty happy about your deadlift.
I PR'd my deadlift.
Okay, I was gonna say, because I remember you were pumped.
Yeah, I hit 440 and laid out a roar.
Nice. Yeah, he almost broke our barbell. Yeah. Sam. So Sam, unfortunately, he did do this on Saturday after a couple workouts. So different experience for you.
Yes.
And you were actually by yourself too?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? You don't care that much about that.
Yeah. It was totally fine. And honestly, it's a little bit better that you guys were doing a different event at the same time. And so I wasn't 500 people yelling or something. So, the people that were still there, they were watching me, and Sean O'Hara was my judge, and I really appreciated that. That was helpful. We don't test 1 rep maxes very often, and I don't like testing very often. Yeah. And I think it's been probably almost 2 years or so since I've tested. So I knew I could probably hit those numbers. I just didn't know how fresh I was going to feel about it. So for my back squat, I warmed up just like you guys did. I missed you guys because I didn't get in Thursday night fast enough to really watch you guys, which kind of bummed me out. But I did hit just below. So I warmed up to about 85 to 90% of my 1 rep. And then when I started right at my 1 rep, which I made for the back squat. I got greedy and jumped 20 pounds or something.
Same thing.
Yeah, and I got stuck, and I watched my lift, and I was like, I don't know what happened.
I thought the same thing.
I got stuck, and then I
saw you, yeah.
And I dumped it, and I was like, oh man. And then I got less greedy and went down, still above my PR, but you know,
Right.
a little bit less, and I made that.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that greed will get you. Like it felt good. So I was like,
Dude.
oh, let me just go.
This is the time to go for it, though.
Yeah.
You know, like I would approach you differently than I would on a 6 a.m. class in the middle of September. You
Yeah.
know, it's just like, why wouldn't you try it right now? So let's talk about the timing real quick so this was event 4.
Yeah.
And it is like if you're in a good state physically, you should always do the strength first. And just because, especially this kind of weekend, the volume catches up to you. Do you have to? No. Like my initial plan was to do event 4 on Saturday because I've had a hip issue, groin issue that's been around since February. And I was afraid that if I hurt it doing my squat, it would affect everything else for the weekend. And I'm not very strong to begin with. So I was like, all right, if I get 10 less pounds on the lifts, like whatever. Looking back on it. So, and then again, I'm a coach, but I have a coach now, and I've tried so hard to, like, if he tells me to do something, I will do it. And he called me from Puerto Rico, and he's like, do the strength tonight. And I was trying to talk him out of it a little bit, and I was just like, all right, well, what if I get hurt? And he goes, if you get hurt, you're gonna get hurt on Saturday too, so you're out. I was like, all right. So and he goes, just and like you're on that line, like you might bottom out. If your strength is I think it was 211, which is good for me.
Yeah.
But if that was 811, which is possible, I've had to happen before in competition, you're effed. You're out. You just can't make up. You know. So, thoughts on Sam? Do you wish you did strength first, or do you think you're unaffected by it?
I like working out in the mornings because that's where I am. When we did the Thursday night lights for the Open, I knew it took a little off of me to do that. On the other hand, the adrenaline and like having everyone there might have helped too. So it's a little bit of a wash. I probably next year, if I know it enough,
if we can,
I'm gonna clear my schedule even more and see if I can get there a little bit earlier on Thursday and do
I'll
it.
say this. I think if CrossFit really does want to see if someone's strong after doing events, because I bet almost everyone that's really competing for a top 100 spot, top 50, top 30, whatever, right? They probably did the strength first. So if CrossFit ever want to make this, like, let's see what you can do after 2 workouts, is what they can do is, here are the first 2 workouts, guys. You have until Friday, 3 p.m. to do them. And then once you submit those scores, we'll send out the next 2 workouts. So that would be the way to police that if they wanted to. And you can't game it as much with these deadlines, but you can game it. I mean, we did game it. We did event 4 before everything.
I think most athletes did it, and I would say most of the elite athletes probably
So
did.
why, like, it's like Kevin Yurchak says, it's like, why not just make it event 1 if you know everyone's going to do it? Like, why not do it?
I don't know, because like you said, there's a little bit of risk reward in there.
Yeah, there are probably a lot of masters, especially masters, right? I hate to bash us, but like, there's probably a lot of like, dude, F that. I want to do the 3 workouts first and then do it. And I don't care about my score.
And I think athletes like feeling like they're gaming the system and getting a little advantage. Like, like let them feel that. Like, that's okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Were you happy with your numbers then?
I mean, so I'm not embarrassed by it. I PR'd my squat and deadlift, but they're still low. This happens to me every time I go to competition. Like, wait, what? That's all you squat? So I PR'd my squat at 407.
Okay.
It was 405 previously. PR'd my deadlift at 507. It was 505 previously. And I haven't hit either of those weights in years.
So how did you approach your lifts then? Like
So my coach told me, this was a good suggestion, I gave it to everyone else too, was like in your warm-up deadlift first, strict press second, and then warm up your back squat because that's where the workout starts, and work up to 95+%. Like, get a hard squat in. And Liz was next to me. She helped me out a lot with this. She watched my 90% squat, and she was like, that was fast. Like, it didn't look hard at all. I'm like, all right, I'm starting at 98% then.
So how many warm-up reps of each did you have before
I probably did one at 85, one at 90, one at 95.
Okay.
And there is one thing, like, when you do 1 rep as opposed to 4 last year, like 4 reps is so different.
Oh, very different.
But when you do 1, like, you just got to dial yourself in and just kind of go for it. I did fail. I went for 4. I got greedy too. I hit 407 and I failed 427.
Ooh.
And I barely got 407 up. And I was like, fuck it. I'm going for it. Ashley's like, why did you make a big jump? But same thing. It's funny. On squatting is weird in that the bar was moving when I bailed. Like I was on the way up, but you get scared. You do.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not afraid to admit that.
Yeah.
But it's I love the strength event for me because I can make up for my lack of squat strength. You know?
Now, press and deadlift, or did you fail on any of those?
So my second press, I got 187, I think, and I fell back as I got it. So the standard is you're not allowed to move your feet. Mm-hmm. So I got it. I did look at the video. It would have been a rep, but I didn't know. Like Deb T and Maria, God bless our judges, by the way. We got to give them a shout out. They were both like, it was close. I was getting nervous because I hit like 182, then I went 187, then 192, and 187 was questionable. So at the time, I didn't know. So I went to 192, and I didn't move my feet, but I barely got it. So, but again, it's only like a 10-pound difference. So like, you have to not stress too much about the strict press. I do want to give a shout out to Ashwin, Julia, and Liz with my deadlifts, because you can't fit all the 45s on the bar. So we use metal 45s. They were stripping weights like left and right. I think Kayla helped out as well. And I wouldn't have been able to like make those weight changes without them. It was just too much, you know. So I just want to give the shout out to them for helping me out on that.
And then you hit all 3 deadlifts?
I hit all 3 deadlifts.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Last one was a little ugly, but I wouldn't. Yeah, have to do it in the sport.
I think that strict press is so hard because you can't
Strict
lift your
press
heels.
sucks. Yeah.
You can't move. Like, I watched my last one, and it's a little like those heels.
I know, it's tough.
It's a little tricky.
It is tricky. It's amazing how what you don't even know what your body does sometimes.
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
All right, so last one, event 5.
Yeah, we just did this one. Or a bunch of us did it this morning. You did it yesterday, which I saw. You got dialed
She's
in.
smiling. We're not.
I love the fact that your family was there, like right there with you. That's really what CrossFit's about, right? When you're like, they're all right there. You're like dialed in. Like, it was amazing. It's 3 rounds for time, 50 calorie row, 15 handstand push-ups, 50 double unders, time cap 20 minutes.
Yeah. So this workout, when I saw it, I had to read it twice because I thought I was missing something. Sorry. I thought I was missing something.
It was too easy for you?
No, not for me. No, I was elated by this workout. But we didn't test double unders in the open that much, right? They were very low volume. It was 108 reps, I think it was, in that workout. And so to see a workout that has a 20-minute cap with only 3 movements and you're only doing 50 doubles at a time, in my opinion, it doesn't test double under capacity that much.
Yeah, when was the other double under workout where we did like a bazillion of them?
Which one? In the open or online qualifier?
Online qualifier.
Well, you did a thruster double under one 2 years ago. Last year, we did 300.
Yes.
Last year it was 75 cleans at 135.95, 300 double unders.
That was an insane amount of double unders.
Exactly. So when I say like last year's programming was made to destroy me, that was one of them. And so I looked at it and I was like, all right, maybe round 2 is 100, maybe round 3 is 150. I'm like, no, it's 50. And even the handstand push-ups, and I'll tell you why I think like this, but 15 for high level is not a lot. They're not easy, but it's not a lot. It's not like you get there and you're there for 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah,
right?
you were thinking deficit or something,
deficit
right?
or strict.
That's what you thought.
And so when I saw that, I'm like, all right, so basically 80% of the time in this workout for everyone is spent on the rower. So I just did some math on like how long the row takes, whether you're fast or slow. About 80% of your workouts on the rower, and I love it because I like rowing. And so I just looked at this. This was the endurance workout of the weekend, even though it's endurance can't be called 10, 12, 13, 14 minutes, but in our sport that's what it is because it's a single modality movement. Like you're just there for a long time. So, Kel, thoughts? You did this yesterday.
I did not. I was not looking forward to this.
You did well.
Rowing is not my favorite thing to do, especially for that long. I think pace was the most important thing. This is new to me, is paying attention to that. I've always just gone. So I was very focused on my strokes per second or per minute, and I just tried to stay in the same ballpark every round. All the calories. Having my family there it helped. I heard them.
Yeah.
Christine came over and whispered some words of encouragement in my ear, and
Get to the wall. Did she say that to you?
And then I could hear Freddie. He knew that I was worried about my pace, so I could tell by what he was saying when I was there or not. Because sometimes I just didn't want to look at the screen and see how far I still had to go. So that was key to me. I felt like the handstand push-ups, which have never been like a strong suit of mine, but there weren't a lot of them. So it was just moving through them, and they were like more of just like an inconvenience.
Did you unbroke on the jump rope?
I did. The last one I did. The last one I was like, I cannot screw this up. Everyone is watching. I cannot trip, I can't stop. So I got through the last
And I will
one.
say, so just so when I program rowing, I always give women 80% of the cows of guys, and I do think it should be that way. I mean, whatever, girls are competing against girls in this, guys, so it doesn't matter. But you'll see the top times for guys and girls will be, my guess is going to be close to 130 apart. And so it is a slightly different workout for women than men. And it's just based on body weight. It's not men versus women. It's just body weight. Like rowing is easier when you weigh more, so damn.
This was more of like a dark place. Right?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I just
Yeah.
have to like
I
dial
literally-
in and go because
I sent a
everyone's
text-
like, use your legs. And I can't extend my legs anymore.
You almost took your hands off the hand and be like,
Yeah. Except then I found myself telling all of you that today.
Yeah.
I've heard it.
It is. Like, it's one thing you want to tell people because you're here in a jump rope, but my legs are ruined right now, right? And you guys
Yes.
probably feel the same way, so.
Yeah, so I went into this, well, let's say this. I woke up today, I thought a Mack truck had hit me. And
Did you say the same words of, I don't know if I can do this workout today?
yes.
Yeah. same
Yes. And I was telling my wife, Michelle, I was like, man, it's going to be tough, like just to get myself through this workout. But I also put a lot of pressure on myself because rowing is something I'm really good at.
Yeah.
And I knew it was just a matter of how bad do you want it? Because it's like, it's a pain cave. It's keeping the cows above a certain number the whole way through.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this about the whole weekend: the environment in this gym is just so unbelievable.
We're gonna end with that.
Yeah,
We'll talk
get
about
there.
it. We'll get there.
We'll get there because I have to. But everybody was in my ear, helping me out so much. I wanted sub 12, and I got 11:40.
Awesome, dude.
And
Great way to end it.
yeah, and just across the room, you just go to me. You can't do this till next year.
Yeah.
and I just locked that in.
Yeah.
And I was like, everything you got in this one, last few minutes, just go.
That's why
Just go.
I love machine work and I love programming machine work to people because I would say 90% of it just comes down to desire. And like that, I really, when I pay attention so much to people when they're on machines, especially if they're in a mindset of like, hey, I really want to go next level. Like that's where you're going to prove it. Like you fail muscle ups, you fail barbell stuff, you get to a weight you can't do anymore. Like there's certain movements you shouldn't do because it's not safe. That's where you're going to prove it to me. Like me as a coach, that's where you prove it to me is on the machines.
Yeah.
Sam, you did awesome on that workout, Dan. Thank you.
You crushed it. You're right. We were talking about it. You have to find that pace where it's paining you. You're not redlining because if you redline, you're not going to do well. But you can't dog it. Like you got to find, and you got to just stay in that pain part for like the whole way. The beginning is not so bad, and then you start getting there, and then like that last row, I saw it on your face. I saw it on Kathleen and Deb's and your face the day before. I was like, holy cow. And then when I got there, it did help that people were yelling at me. They were like, don't drop under 1,000. And I'm like, and they use your legs. And I'm like, okay, I'll use my leg. And I got better at my double unders this year. So
much better.
That went very smoothly. It was the handstand push-ups. Again, it's technique. I don't love doing them. I hate like falling on my head constantly. So if I needed to improve my time, it would have been on my efficiency with my kip and banging out bigger sets.
Yeah.
But for what I did, I was really happy. It was just, you're right. This morning I did not feel good, and I did not want to come in and do this. And I came in the latest that I ever have before a workout. Literally, like I usually come at least an hour, maybe almost in 90 minutes, and I came in 30 to 40 minutes before. But like you said, you hear the 3, 2, 1 go, and we're sort of conditioned at this point. Just so many thousands of 3, 2, 1 go. You just clear your head. You just focus and. Especially like you said, this is not an environment that you encounter very often. Maybe a couple times a year, if that. Like if you're in a comp or if you're doing something like that, you just have to give it your all. And we talked about this, about engaging in sport, and we talk about rec competitive all the time. Yep. But just to feel that and just have that as part of your life as a sport, it's awesome.
Yeah, it really is. There's nothing like the adrenaline that comes from it. And what I like about it is it's once a year. This is once a year. And then there's other things that you can get into. Like Dan and I are going to talk in a couple weeks about Legends and Masters Collective. Like there are things, opportunities throughout the year to pursue if you want. But I like that this is just once a year. And you don't have to like change your entire life around and make your family change things. Like, yeah, this is an intense weekend. Kelly said she's taking off from being a mom today.
The last 4 days.
but it's one weekend. And I just think that like that's what I was trying to tell Dan, because I knew where Dan was. Like people looked at me like, you look tired. I'm like, F you. Like but like today, like we're tired. And I wanted Dan to empty the tank today and like really go for it. And I said, yo, you don't get to do this for another year. And this is like a really unique thing. Like let's start touching on a little bit now of like just like the environment that we have here. And again, we have a lot of people that listen that don't go to Bison, so we can kind of tell people like how much it does help. And I want to go into something deeper beyond, but like how much did the environment help you guys this weekend?
I mean, the caliber of athlete, I still don't consider myself to fall amongst them. And when I look at my scores and I look and I compare myself, the women that I work out with in particular are just incredible, and at all ages, and they're moms and they work and they're so supportive and they push me every day, whether it's the 9:30 class or staying for next level or doing something like this. This was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And thank you for orchestrating it, because you're competing and you're
Yes.
working on spreadsheets and texting all of us and trying to keep us all straight. And it's just, this was so much fun.
Yeah.
That's all I can say about
That's
it.
awesome. Yeah. No, I'm glad you were part of it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really even explain an environment of people who are coming together to support you, whether they're there to judge, whether they're the other athletes that you're all going together and you're all pushing each other and you all want to beat each other, but you all want each other to do amazing.
Yeah. It's so unique.
yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah, and then just people, yeah, I know, and people just taking time out of their day just to come and cheer you on. And, and I've not been in a place that has so many people who are so invested in everybody just trying to reach their own goals, you know, and I would never reach the levels I did.
Yep. That's
otherwise.
awesome.
And
Thanks for
I
that.
think the fact that we're all such different athletes is what makes it work. Is because if we were all lined up apples to apples with all the same strengths, it would be competitive.
Yeah.
But when you look at every one of these workouts, everyone had different strengths and weaknesses, and so everybody kind of pushes each other, and you strive to be better at certain things, but you're not totally competing.
Right. And like, and what I also think it makes it somewhat unique is that you train with each other throughout the year, and not everyone in that group of people are like best friends, like hanging out with each other on the weekends, but you do grow to respect this side of their life a little bit, to the point where there really shouldn't be any ill feelings of like want you to do. It really is like, we say this all the time on this podcast. We're so fortunate that we have each other, even the ones you don't really like, because you get pushed by them.
Oh, yeah.
And without them, I would say this to anyone's face, you're not as good as you are without them. Straight up.
Yeah. Watching everyone these past couple days, I always try to take the best parts of everybody, because you're right, everyone's so different. I'll take, the grit of a Natalia or Karam, or sometimes I'll be like, okay, in this situation, I'll have to channel a little bit of Owen and go a little bit darker. Or I try to do some of the graceful movements that Elena does or something like that. I'll always try to see what everyone else is doing. And I can't be them, but sometimes I can figure out like the things that I want to take from them.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that everyone is always super locked in.
Yeah.
And again, it's not about the physical part of it so much, like, what your hard number is. If you're a competitive athlete and you're trying to get a number, yes, you have to do that. But for me, it's just, where was that effort level? Where did they push? How hard did they try? And I have kids. I want my kids to do sports, because that's part of life, is competing and trying your hardest and working together and doing all those things. And why should we as adults just give that part of our lives up? We should feel that as well. We should also understand what it is that our kids going through. So I have a better understanding about what my kids' sports are like just because I'm engaging in sport.
Right.
And if I'm pushing myself, it's not unreasonable to watch my kids pushing themselves as well.
Yeah.
And it's a very good environment in which to do it, because CrossFit's not a sport where you have to beat somebody. You have to just do the best you can. And you always say that, like, if you finish the day and you felt like you gave it everything you got,
You should be proud of yourself.
that's a win.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why
And that's not a moral victory either. Like that's legit a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all of the upcoming comps that a lot of the athletes in our gym are going to be going to, like 908 and Shrewsbury and all these, I can't wait to watch them.
Yeah, same here.
Because it's the same sort of situation where you have a ton of people. They're all gunning for you. They're all cheering for you. You're pushing yourself as hard as you can.
Yep.
Like, that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, that's what community is, right? You know, it's a buzzword in CrossFit. But I remember when I asked, and this is a tough ask for me every year to do this, but I just know how intense this weekend is and how demanding it is for judging. And I want the athletes to just worry about their workouts, right? I don't want us to have to judge after, then skip your warm up, then judge this person, right? So I remember when I posted on our private Facebook group, hey guys, if anyone wants to spend $10 and spend an hour of your time taking this judges course, we could really use judges. I was hoping to get 10 to 12 people. We got 23. And I was like, holy cow. And like every year, this happens every year. I'm just like, this place is more special than even I thought it was, right? And that, like, I told the judges, I don't know, I'll send them a text later too, like, this weekend would not be what it was without them. Like, and like Dan said, people showing up in street clothes, people taking off from work. Alan's like judging me as he's got his laptop in the middle of a meeting. Like, that's a special person. It really is. It's a very selfless person. And I think that to show up at a gym on a Saturday or Sunday on your free time, in your street clothes, away from your family, away from whatever you want to do, to cheer someone row is incredibly selfless. And what I hope it does to us but also everyone that competed this weekend is it's your turn next time. That's what makes this place goes around. It's like a pay it forward type approach that, like, I can't wait for May 7th and May 21st.
You know what I loved is that picture of you redoing that WOD and Ash. Like, there's no one else around. It was basically just you and him.
I got nervous. that I sent the judges a text. I was like, guys, I have to do the workout again. And I get a text back for 5 minutes. I was like, fuck. And, you know, Ashwin and then Maria and Alan, they're like all around. And, you know, even like Julia, she watched my camera. Like, that's one of the most stressful things.
She was so nervous.
One of the most stressful things about this weekend is the videoing. Yeah. And there's a lot of things that can go wrong. Like the memory on your phone. You know, there's an hour and a half of workouts on this phone, and you need someone to watch the video, because if it stops recording, like, you got to stop. There's no point in going on. You have to start over and do the whole thing. And like little things like that where people donating time, like you're humbled by it, right? Like, I think one of the truest signs of humility is you're okay with other people trying to help you out. You know how sometimes, like, no, don't help me. I'm like, people want to help, and you have to let them do that. And we have so many people in the gym, whether it's cheering, whether it's helping you set up. How many people were helping us measure our tape? Mm-hmm. And it's rare. And I think if you're listening to this and you go to a gym, like, that's a huge impact you can make. Like, you don't need to be a top 10% athlete to have any sort of impact. Like, you know, it's almost like sometimes you get too much credit for doing it. It's like you got to chill a little bit with it. And it's, you know, very uncomfortable. But if you want to make an impact at your gym, like doing something like that, like I say it all the time when we run comps, the Bison Bowl, the judges are more important than the athletes.
I have to say, I also appreciate our gym in general for tolerating us, because we were kind of screwing up some classes.
We ruined like 3 classes.
Yeah,
100%.
And they were very accommodating, and like I could tell it wasn't good for them.
For sure, absolutely.
But you know, like especially
Thursday night.
Yeah, like people doing the lifts and stuff, and everyone's like, and these people are trying to walk on the side. And,
are they cheering for my wall?
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that goes to show for 2 things. One is that you try to keep everyone on the same schedule. It wasn't like, oh, we're so special, so we're canceling all of these classes. We're not doing anything. And so there was a little bit of overlap there.
For sure.
But I also...
Coaches helped me out. You know, Liz, Adam, Mike, Kayla, Terry, they all helped me out this weekend.
And I know like Terry was trying to give instruction about the WOD, and the music's still going. There are people still doing events. And so the fact that people were that tolerant, I really, really, really appreciate that.
So this is all just comes back to the point that, you know, we can't do this without other people, and we know that too. Like we work out hard, we train hard, we get to have our 4 days, right? But we don't get to do this without them, and I think we should all know that, and we do. But I want the other people to know that we know it too. You know, like we're overly thankful, and you know we'll pay it forward. It'll come back to them. Not that it needs to. That's not why we do things, right? But it'll come back because that's what this place is. You know, like everyone gets picked up at some point, but also someone needs to pick someone else up at another point. So Do you guys have any closing thoughts? Like, where do you guys go from here, Kel?
I think that just helped me to narrow down the things that long list of things I want to work on, kind of poked holes in a lot of, my broader goals.
Opens up your eyes a little bit.
Big time.
Yeah.
But you should take away pride in your strengths too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't always walk away saying like, I need to work on this. Like,
You kicked ass.
you did kick ass. Yeah. That's
And
awesome.
it's a long year.
It is.
Till next year. So
A
it's
lot
like,
can happen.
Yeah.
A lot can happen in 11 months.
It's exciting to just have that time, take a little
Yeah.
breather this week.
Yeah.
So I
Yep.
don't have to come in and do 2 of those workouts.
Tuesday and Friday. You know what you should do is come in and yell at Christine during the middle of the workout. Get to the wall.
Kyle.
Dan, closing thoughts. Where do you go?
Yeah, I mean, I think that a big part of this weekend was, we talked about just letting it rip. Just don't hold back. There's nothing to, nothing to overthink. Just let it go. And
Yep.
I think part of it is proving to myself that I kind of do belong. I had 2 top 100 scores, which
That's awesome, dude.
never happened in my
sick.
life.
Yeah, that's sick.
And it was just from, not overthinking and just believing in the hard work that we've all put in.
Good
And I think,
environment too. Yeah.
Yeah. And just moving forward, I'm just really excited to, the big thing is trying to get to Legends.
Yeah.
Working with you on that.
Yep.
And
I just talked to Bob last night, the guy that runs Legends.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I want one of those Viore shirts.
Yeah. Sam, where do you go from here?
Oh,
This is your third one.
yeah, and
Crazy, right?
Best one so far.
That's crazy. Your best open and your best quarterfinal.
Yeah, I just feel like these guys that are, you can't help but just try your best, do your best, try to represent, try to, whatever choices I made in the past year in terms of my training, like I know no matter what I do, I'm still getting better,
Right.
like regardless. And
crazy, yeah.
Even though I'm intentionally like not focusing so much on the competitive sports side of things, and that's very heartening. It's very heartening to see that, and
That's awesome.
And I loved it, and now I'm just so ready to take
Chill.
a little
I know.
bit of a break.
Same here. Same here.
Same.
That's where my mind's at. I just want to take 4 days, no working out. I'll work. Like, I'm not taking time off work, but
Right.
spend the day with Brock tomorrow, get some ice cream tonight, have another beer.
You got a week to wait,
Yeah, so yeah, that's like...
and
yeah,
then not to jump, because I'm not going to jump. But the semis are the end of May, right?
Memorial Day weekend. So they finished the day before Merv. Yeah, no, it's...
And I have to say, your process this year has been different than any other year that I've seen you sort of do.
Yep.
And it's crazy how mature and sort of dialed in you are in all this sort of stuff. this
Yeah,
year.
I'm growing up. I'm becoming an adult. No, but that's gonna wrap it up for us, guys. I really appreciate you guys listening in on this. Congrats again to everyone that competed. Thank you again to everyone that helped us. I don't even want to try to name the names because I really don't want to forget anyone, because all of you guys are equally important to that whole process. And we hope that if this is a goal for you to hit that level, or it's something that you want to do even further down the road, that you can take our experiences and apply them to yourself. And like Kelly said, 11 months is a long time. We'll be probably about 10 months from the Open next year. But with that said, the process of trying to get to the level or work towards that goal starts now. It doesn't start at the end of the summer. It starts right now. And I hope these two can kind of prove to you that that's the way it goes. So thank you again, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time out of your day to listen to the Herd Fit podcast. Be on the lookout for next week's episode.